Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace and blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be on you. We are talking about the fiscal policy and monetary policy, and we want to know that why Islamic finance or Islamic economics promote the fiscal policy, why not to monetary policy, and what is the differences, and what are the means necessity, and what are the means points on the view of Islam on monetary policy and the fiscal policy. So let me explain you that because Islamic economics would like to stabilize the economy, and they try to make the long-term means goal and try to means remove the poverty and stabilize the economy. So therefore they try to follow the fiscal policy, because fiscal policy is a policy which you could not implement just within a means day or within a week, that it take a time and making policy and implementation, and then after that you have to wait for the result, and for the result means the government and the economy state need to wait for at least more than 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, and the people are making the policy that they require 5 year, 5 to 10 year means time for the result and the better means output of the fiscal policy. Many time Islamic finance or the Islamic economics, they encourage to follow the zakat policy. Zakat is a very means good tool to promote the fiscal policy because zakat basically the circulate the means wealth in all the corner, in all the shores of economy, and all the people of the economy, they benefit, and they get the reward, and they get the benefit, and their need is served through the zakat. Zakat moreover create means love and affection, and remove the disparities and means standard between rich and poor, and they try to means zakat try to create a kind of bonding, love and brotherhood among the people. So Islamic economics basically use the zakat as a tool to promote the fiscal policy. As far as the monetary policy is concerned, you see the monetary policy basically they are talking about the circulation of money, and talking about the interest, and talking about the money rate and interest rate and various kind of rate, and circulation, bond, and all those things. You see the Islamic economics doesn't allow to involve in the interest, and doesn't promote the interest based idea. Sometimes you see in certain policies of certain countries, the Islamic bank they allow, or the Muslim jurists they allow to use the product which is or services which is based on interest. So this is not means that Islam is welcoming to those things. Actually Islam just has the resistance level, because through resistance level just giving the means that much permission that to resist to that particular level, it doesn't mean that you allow you to, that many people they comprehend and interpret it wrongly, that this is that why means the one drop of interest or the very small amount of interest and a very big amount of interest are same, that because in the hadith, the wording of hadith used that if you eat the small means particle of interest or a small amount of interest or the big, there is not much difference, or anything is haram, so it is whether one drop or it is maybe it's a one container, so it's not difference. Means if you consume the one drop, you will be also punished, or if you consume the one container, you will also be punished. The punishment will be the same. So actually it was told in a state where they have the means proper state, and where they control the entire economy, that and where there was a rules and regulation, that and the proper circulation of money, and the proper business, brotherhood, cooperation, many things was going on over there. But nowadays if you apply that thing, that it's very difficult to means to implement it, because no country has that law and regulation in their means homeland, so it will be really and quite difficult to implement those things. That so like Alifullahu illa usaha, there is a ayah in the Quran, and which means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't make someone is means responsible who could not means bear that much responsibility. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give the responsibility to the person according to his capacity or capability. So if you are living in such a country where the entire system is based on means interest and running there, where and you are striving hard to means avoid it, that so you can avoid according to your means it's called that the ability you have or the resistance power that where you can avoid, and where beyond that you cannot avoid because you don't have the capacity to avoid that. Just I want to give you one example that you see that if there is a raining, that you have the umbrella, so you can open your umbrella and you try to save yourself from the rain. But when the rain become heavy and very heavy rainfall, that so that time your umbrella could not work it, so you have done your job it, but actually that is not going to work out and you will get wet and you could not save yourself from the rain. So if there is a too much means interest bearing business or the economic activities in where you are living that, and you want to strive to remove and to take one step further toward halal things, so in this case you need to resist and so you have seen in the Sharia screening pattern, many Sharia scholars used to say that about the Sharia equity stocks, that is means of various companies that where people can invest in the equity stocks. So what should be the condition and precondition for for these stocks, and how you choose that stock, how to screen the stock Islamically. So they are saying it should not go beyond the interest rate, should not go with any business in more than 5%, and receivables should not be more than 33%, and debt should not be more than 33%. They used to be this one third, means should not be more than one third. Just this is they consider many means scholar, Hanfi scholar or the Hanfi school of thoughts people, they think that this is the Awsat means will not exceed beyond that. So therefore many means scholars they follow this opinion, and they say that 33% just the limit, that you don't go beyond that. So some people in our community they question it, why is it 33%, why is it 5%, why it not 100%, if 33% allowed, so why not means 100% allowed, and if someone is the 33%, so they are eating the haram, and if someone is eating the 100%, so what is the difference between that? So the difference is that basically all are eating the haram, that nowadays no one is safe from the interest, because the Prophet said there is a time come, I don't say that you become like this, but the situation has created in this way that where you cannot save. So Prophet told that a time will come that when you cannot save from the means sport of interest, at a small means particle of interest, because interest will be running like a red blood cell in your blood, that you cannot use. So you see the entire economy of the world is based on interest. You see hardly you find any company which doesn't keep their money in the bank. If they are keeping the money in the bank, definitely they will be getting certain amount of interest. You don't find any company which has the business but doesn't take the means loan. They sometimes they have to take, yet they don't require the take, but to fulfill the government rules and regulation, they have to take the loan from the bank, and when they take the loan from the bank, they have to pay certain amount of interest. So you cannot say that, oh actually that company was taking so interest, they are taking the interest, so I'm not responsible. Suppose the company is producing the cloth, or company is producing, making the bike or the trucks and the vehicle, that, and we are using that vehicle, so the company has taken the very huge amount of the loan from the bank and paying the interest. So we cannot say we are isolated, we are not responsible for that. So actually we will be we cannot save ourselves, that 100% we cannot save. So wherever you can save yourself, you try to save. So jurist or the Muslim jurists, they have made the rules that there should be 33%, and this is the Awsat one, and the 1/3 one is that. So it's means resistance level. This is not means they are allowing just you go and jump in. This is beyond that you don't find any company, you don't find any place where there is no interest. So just they are promoting a Sharia based concept, or means what is called that policy that means resist, and they are giving the means opportunity to run or to come into the market, because we were far away from the market, and we see from past 1000 year, not 1000 year, but at least we can say from past 900 year Muslims are doing nothing. And after the means arrival of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the hijrah, and after the first hijri, and first hijri to means 300 hijri, uh, Muslims has conquered more than means 60-70% land of the world, and within just 300 year, and then after that we can say that just 11th century, just till 11th century, that Muslim has conquered more than 60 or 70% land of the world. So in after that Muslim haven't done anything that and after that they try to means fight to distribute that land which they have means conquered from the other people in past 300 years after the arrival of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So unfortunately Muslim haven't done anything in this field. So the people who have done that, they don't have any problem with interest, and they don't have any means instruction, although they have some instruction in their book, but they don't follow their book, and they follow their profit and their vision, and how to become the millionaire within a short span of time. So they don't consider about means interest and Allah, and the rules which means created by Islam to safeguard the interest of both the party. They don't consider, they don't think it. So therefore we cannot means say that we know actually when we use the 0%, then we will be safe, or someone is using 10%, so it's equal to the 100%, and there's not different. So this is not the matter of percentage, actually matter of percentage. Basically it is just resistance level that so Islamic economics has given, that you can resist and try to work in this means limited domain. That so when you are working in this field, so later on you can demand, when your people are much interested in Islamic finance product, so you can ask the people, to means people who are offering that services to change their product structuring or their way of means business, where the very minimum level of interest should be involved in the business. But we cannot say just we enter in the market and start demanding, because no one will listen our demand. Demand will listen when there is too much potential in the demand and huge potential in the demand. Then entrepreneurs or the supplier will try to make available such a product. And you see there is a little bit demand, so therefore you see some banks started offering the Islamic financial products, and they try to follow the whatever the means possibilities to implement the Islamic rules and avoid the interest and gharar, gambling and haram activities. They try to do it. And while the people screening the stock according to Sharia, they try to avoid all those things, that and they have made that should be means that much restriction. But when something is the means main business, or the essence of business is a haram, like producing the alcohol or selling the meat of means pork, and producing music and pornographical films, so the nature of the business itself is haram. So that kind of business is not included in the Islam. And Islam basically want to bring that the business in the community which is human friendly and environment friendly and iman friendly, and should comply with the faith and iman of the people there. So some other aspect like the financial means conditions and financial parameters there, so they try to means all the legal parameters are there in many means all the countries. So in the legal parameter and the financial parameter, Islamic finance, they try to control it, and they try to means limit it to certain level, that and they don't ask to involve 100% on those things. So therefore you see that Dow Jones Stock Exchange or CNBC Sharia Index and Malaysian Sharia Index and Sharia Index Pakistan and Kuwait and Bahrain. These are the Sharia Index which is prepared considering the rules and regulation of Islamic banking, finance, and where they have make a resistance level that, as I have told you, that debt level should not be more than 33%, or interest should not be more than 5%, and receivable which need to come in your balance sheet or in your business to reflect that should not be means more than 33%. So these are the financial means parameter which should be compromised, because we cannot make it. It is better if we can do 100% and remove it, and a company should be debt free and should be inventory free and should be means interest free. But it's impossible that, because around us the financial player are means running in the market or the working in the market, they are completely interest based on interest. So we could not avoid the 100% interest, and we could not survive on 100%. So therefore, just they give that open a problem. Those who are involved in 100% don't choose them. Those who are means limited to 33% choose them, and maybe after that you can, when demand of such product will increase, so in future you may ask to the entrepreneur or the company owners or the directors companies that to reduce that participation in interest, and reduce their receivable, reduce their debt level, and reduce their means bank loan and the interest rate. So it could be possible, but it's not a means this thing is not possible quickly, that you can't do it quickly within a second or within a day or within a month. It's a means long-term processing. It requires long time for implementation of getting means output of this policy implemented in any state or in any country. So therefore means because such type of policies also, and Islamic finance also hope that in future people will come to this means mode of financing, and they come to this particular business, and they try to write this particular business in the futures, because there is a less darar and risk, and there's no involvement in what is called that interest bearing business and haram activities like producing cigarette and tobacco, or producing alcohol, or making pornographical movies, and so producing some haram beverages. So these are the very means attractive business, and they give a lot of profit, but at the same time it is a haram. So Islamic economics doesn't allow to involve in such a business. So to replace these things, it requires a lot of time. It may require a decade. You need to spread your teaching. You need to spread the quality of teaching, disseminate that information among the people, and need to explain it. But unfortunately, we see that our Muslims are not aware about that, and still they are contending, fighting whether we should understand, read the Quran with understanding or without understanding. So you see that how backward are we. Really, we are very backward, and we need to work on that. So therefore, Islamic economics basically working on fiscal policy, and give more focus to fiscal policy, because it's a long-term policy, and the long-term policy is really it is a strong policy, and it take time, but it give the result, and Islamic policy is not the momentary policy that. So and Islam doesn't deal with interest rate, because the entire monetary policy basically based on the bank rate and financial parameters and interest rates. So Islam doesn't promote, so how the Islam can promote too much about the monetary policy? So therefore Islam doesn't have option of the monetary policy. Islam promote the fiscal policy, and the fiscal policy is a long-term policy, and it make the economy strong, stabilize in the long term, that and you have the ample of time to educate the people and to make them understand